starting with the left spine, a core that's active, and we are stretching the spine. An active movement through the movement in the upper back. Not leaning back, just rolling the spine. Stretching through active arms, you're pulling on your thighs as you stretch and lift. One more to go. Extend the arms forward. At this stage, if you feel that it's quite tight here in your hips, walk the feet a little bit forward. Reach up as you inhale. You're lengthening through your torso, and on the exhale, release the arms down. Palms are facing in. As you inhale, reach and stretch up. Your core becomes more active. Your pelvic floor holds its connection. Inhale as you reach. Drawing the shoulder blades down. Do not allowing the shoulders to lift up towards the ears at all. You're lengthening through the spine. And then from your pelvis, tilt through and roll the spine down to the mat one vertebra at a time. We're keeping a neutral spine, which means that we have a slight lowering of the mat with your lower back. Not too much. You want the middle of the back up onto the floor, and the rest is just slightly eased off. Arms stay extended. As you exhale, you lift head and shoulders. Arms stay parallel to the floor. Hold as you inhale. And exhale, going to roll back down to the floor. This is called a chest lift. You're going to focus on holding your neutral spine as you lift up, arms parallel to the floor. Feel that inner core connection and roll back down. What is important is that as you lift up, you want to keep drawing the abdominal wall down to the spine. So what I mean by that is you're actively putting the core towards your spine, and you're also not losing the pelvic activation. Exhale as you lift. Important to maintain that neutral spine position. And if you feel that your neck is straining at this point, you will need to lift a little bit higher. Try to get the shoulder blades up off the floor and roll back to the mat. Placing the hands behind your head. On the exhale, lift up. On the inhale, we're going to rotate. On the exhale, to the other side. Keep the flow going and keep the contraction. So you are lifting and holding the lift of your shoulders off the mat, rotating from side to side. Center and roll back to the mat. And to draw the left leg up to a tabletop position and lower down. No movement in the spine with this. We're working through the core activation, pelvic activation, and maintaining a relaxed shoulders. And one more lift on the left. Try not to push deeper into your right foot. So as we switch, keeping the left foot very lightly on the mat. Also feel that you are pressing the hips down into the floor, a little bit of a deeper activation, as well as not allowing the middle back to drift off the floor. Your core is very active at this point. Then drawing the knees in one at a time. Going to hold up onto the knees. Start with an inhalation, roll up. On the exhale, again a deep contraction. You're trying to lift the shoulder blades off the floor as well. This places your head in the correct alignment so that you're not leaning back and putting strain on the neck. So your core contraction is going to assist with the neck tension. Elbows high, and you actively pulling the knee towards you as the other leg extends. You want nice, even, deep breaths. Make the arm work by pulling the knee towards you. Reaching out with the other leg. One more on the right. Pull both knees in and release slowly to the floor. Placing the feet down hip distance apart. The arms remain onto the floor. And we're tilting the pelvis from that neutral position to imprint. And then try and lift one vertebrae up off from the mat at a time. Keeping the weight onto the feet. Inhale. And on the exhalation, we are rolling down. Feel that it's the rib cage, then the middle of the spine, the lower back, and then the hips back to neutral. Connect evenly through the feet. Focus under the big toe, the little toe, and the middle of the heel so that you have an even connection and base through the feet. Roll down one vertebrae at a time. So it's very important that you're concentrating through each movement that you're doing. You're not flicking yourself up. You are lifting yourself up to the ceiling and roll through the spine. Got one more to do. Taking your time. I would suggest when you match your breath and movement that as much or as long as it takes you to exhale, that's the time it should take you to lift up. So that will help you maintain a slow and steady flow through these exercises. We're going to do a roll up, starting with the arms behind. But before you get there, focus on where your spine is. You don't want the chest to lift up. You want to keep compressing down to the mat. So if you've got very tight shoulders, your arms won't reach as far. And if they do, your chest most likely is lifting up and your spine is edging away from the mat. So just see what works for you. As long as you can keep the shoulder blades pulled down, the spine to the floor, the legs are lengthened and slightly apart. We're going to lift the arms, the head, the shoulders. This is an inhalation, bringing the arms parallel to the floor. And then on the exhalation, you're going to roll up, keeping the arms parallel, the shoulder blades down, and you want your head say above the shoulders. You don't want to dip down. You want to keep a C curve. So you're lengthening the neck, pushing the shoulders down. So there's a lot to remember in the movement, and that's why we're doing it very slowly. As you roll down, you're going to bring the arms back to parallel first, and as your head goes down, the arms reach back. Focus on the next one. Inhale, the arms are lifting, the head, the shoulders. Bring it all to parallel to the floor, the arms, and then roll up. And that's the key, you rolling up, not flicking up. Shoulders down, the neck is lengthened. And in the exhale again, bring your belly to your spine, you're rolling down one vertebra at a time. Bring the arms parallel, hand back. I did that a little bit too slow and not coordinated. So that's why it's important to focus. And if you can go to that height, hold it there and then roll down. If you can't make it up in a slow, controlled movement, it's something you can still work towards. That's what you're doing. You're strengthening the body to work in a coordinated manner to strengthen and lengthen, bring your body into a balanced state. One more roll up. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as the roll is happening. Focus on length, rounding that C shape of your spine, or the back line of your body. Nice C shape. And then again, rolling back, bringing the arms parallel, and then back. Hands behind your head. Right. Going to lift. And here, if your flexibility is not at an advanced stage, you can bend the knee. Just work where you are comfortable, but you still feel that your body is working. You don't want to not push yourself a little bit. And it's important, any exercise you do where you're supporting your head, you do not want to pull your head forward. This is the job of the abdominals. This is the alignment of where your arms are, and it's supporting your head and neck, not pulling on it. And releasing back to the mat. On the first one, we are going to extend the left leg. Place very little weight on this bent knee. If your flexibility allows your strength and coordination, you can extend the right leg. Otherwise, remain in a bent position, and we're going to flex the foot, push through the heel, draw the toes in, and circle, inhale, then exhale. Inhale. It's all about the hip stability and reversing the rotation. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Exhale, drawing that knee in. So also a lot of quad work, hip flexors and quads, all coordinating together. Standing on the right leg, flexing the foot, pushing through up to the ceiling and circle. 1, 2. Shoulders to the floor, chest relaxes, reverse rotation. 1, 2, 3. Very little weight on this left foot. And one more, and draw the knees to the chest. Even extend the other leg. And releasing. From here, we're going to turn over onto this side. Laying down onto the mat, keeping it in line with the spine. The arms supporting you. It's important to pull the shoulders down. You want to work into these scapular stabilizers, your shoulder blade floating between muscles. So you want to get those muscles strong, coordinated, and help you with the movement. Exhale and inhale. You can also turn the palm up on the arm that's extended, so you're not tempted to press down with it. You're still working through the core and the pelvic floor. And one more, lifting. The bottom leg travels a bit forward and the top back. Not a big movement, not a wide movement. And flow. So your legs remain at the same height. Your core, your pelvic floor is helping to coordinate this movement. And the bottom leg is forward, and from this position, on the exhale, we're going to lift higher up and down. 2. It's about control, the flow of movement, so you don't want to rush the movement at all. And it's a flowing movement up and releasing down. Switching legs. You may need to rest already. It all depends on the strength that you have. But remember, you want to do an equal amount on each side, always looking to balance the movement. Bring the legs together and down. It's going to stretch the arm out and change sides. Extending out. And we're stacking the shoulders, we're stacking the hips. Shoulders pull down, your core and pelvic floor is always activated. And exhale, lifting and releasing. What is also quite a giveaway on how much you're using your core or not is if you feel the sensation of the rib cage wanting to draw off the mat when you lift the legs, and you know that your core is either not activated or you're still building up strength. Just keep an eye pressing the rib cage down to the floor. Shoulder down, lifting. Bottom leg back. Coordinate this movement with the breath. So the switching of the legs, I will also advise that you're using, as long as it takes you to inhale, then exhale, so that your flow comes from coordination and the way you are moving. And then the bottom leg forward, and lift, exhale, and inhale. You may feel that it's not as easy on the one side, and that just means that the coordination, the strength needs to build. That's why we repeat exercises in classes. Over time, you might feel like where is more variety or movements, but you also need to get to the point where you've mastered the movement in its entirety through breath and flow, and keeping the shoulder down, the core is active. Again, we're looking for a flowing movement and not a flicked movement. Slow, precise, bringing the feet together and releasing again, stretching out. From here, we're going to turn down onto the mat. If you're still starting out, you're building strength, I would suggest place a little support, either a little pillow or a folded up towel underneath your hips. This will help to tilt your pelvis, because once you're in this position, you want to push or pull your pubic bone towards your belly button. Or in other words, if you just want to pull your ribs closer to your hips. So whatever makes sense for you as a visual cue, and place the hands by the shoulders. Keep the elbows on the floor and the legs are wider than the hips or the same width as the hips and slightly rotated outward. Taking a deep breath in, just checking alignment, pushing hips down. Exhale, hold, and as you inhale, you're drawing yourself up off the floor. The shoulders are down, you're looking down at the mat. And rolling slowly down. As you inhale, you're going to lift a slow movement, contraction of the back muscles, the glutes, the core, the pelvic floor. Everything is coordinated. Then inhale as you lift and release. So you don't, at this stage, want to press too much on the arms and around them. Rely on the back muscles to lift you up and release. But you want to keep your arms connected on the floor. And as you feel more comfortable and as you have strength, you're lifting up high, draw the shoulders down and release. One more to go. Great. Going to extend the arms out here. If your neck and shoulders have injuries or compromised in any way, I would suggest you take your arms a little bit wider or even bend the elbows. You can also place your hands under the hip and just do the movement through the legs. Legs are hip width apart, arms extended or elbows bent. First start with the opposite sides, lifting. The others remain on the floor and releasing down. Still lengthening through the lower back. And by now you should know the core, the pelvic floor remains active. And you want to lift, you want to draw yourself up, lengthening, and releasing. Remember, if you have any lower back issues, you're not going to lift as high, especially if you're still building strength in your spine. It's always working towards something. You don't want to necessarily start with a movement that your body cannot handle at the time. One more to go. Just going to finish off on the left arm, right leg. If you started with the right arm, left leg. Great. At this point, you may feel that you need to stretch to resting, then do that. Into what we call a front support position. Great. So if you hyperextend into the elbows, slide the shoulder blades down, rotate a little bit inward with the shoulder, and that will help align your extension so that you're keeping a straight arm but you're not bending the elbows. Going to bend the knees under the hips and pull the toes up. So again, you want to do an internal rotation. This also helps to bring better activation into the scapula. That's if you hyperextend into the elbow. And on the exhale, going to lift and releasing down. Just a gentle touch down of the knees, but not losing the core and pelvic activation. As you exhale, lift up. As you inhale, draw down. Again, follow the rule, or not the rule, the suggestion that you exhale. And as long as it takes you to exhale, that's how long the movement takes, and how long it takes you to inhale. That's how long it takes down. Another 2. What's also important is that you are going to keep your head lifted. You're not going to let your head drop or through the scapula. You want to stay in control of the movement all the time and into a resting pose. So you may feel that you needed to stretch in between the movement. That's fine. When you're building up strength, be kind to your body, and you'd rather do them all correctly than rush 10 of them. Inhale, we're going to extend with the opposite sides and releasing down. So this might be a little bit more of a tricky movement, because as you lift the opposite sides out, you need a force to coordinate and hold your balance. That force and stability should be from your core, your pelvic floor, and a whole range of other muscles, but predominantly your core is your center, which you're moving from and getting stability. And one more. And releasing down. And again, stretching out. And rolling up through the spine. Great. Thank you for joining me in the session. I will be posting another video. And if there's anything that you have a problem with, that you're struggling with, please just leave a comment. I will get back to you on that or approach it into the next session. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your body. Do not work through pain. Pain is there for a reason, to tell you to stop, because the action that you are doing is causing damage to your body. Of course, if you feel fatigued, that's a different story. But